genuinely tired of reading about Holocaust books. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Morgan. So hi guys, welcome back. Welcome subscribers. I've got some new subscribers. So hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Morgan. So today's video, I want to go over some books that I have recently DNF'd. And by recently, I've just compiled a list of 10 books that I have DNF'd over the past couple of months. It's kind of funny because as I was like compiling this list, I was realizing like how little books I could actually remember that I stopped reading, because I know it's probably triple this amount. If I'm completely honest with myself, it's probably triple this amount, but like I said, I can only remember specific books that I got into and then I stopped reading. But like, as I was realizing how many books I've DNF'd, part of me was like, I need to change my YouTube channel to like the DNF queen, because like that's all I do, and it's honestly really, really sad, and it can be very, very hard to like read a book if all I do is DNF books. So it's officially October. I think it's the 4th. September was a shit show. Okay, September didn't work out for me. I didn't do well. If you guys have seen my September like TBR plans, you can go ahead and watch that video. But spoiler alert, I read one book last month. One book. So when I tell you that September was a shit show, I really mean that. And like every aspect of my life, it was just, nothing was aligning. I feel like I was stressed doing everything and like nothing. And I would try to find solace in reading, and even that didn't help. And so it was kind of just like really deflating. So the one book that I read last month in September was Catching Fire, the second book in the Hunger Games trilogy. And let me just tell you, I did not know that Hunger Games was only 3 books. I thought it was 4 because the movies are 4 movies, so I assumed that meant there were 4 books, but no, I was wrong. So that's interesting. But yeah, I DNF'd a lot of books last month, like a lot, and I'm just gonna go over books that I've DNF'd, why, and we're gonna get into it. I gotta pick up a new book. I don't know, man. Life is annoying. Okay, so the first book that I'm gonna talk about is Red Sister, and this is actually a book that I decided that I was gonna read on my September TBR video. So let me think. On Red Sister, I actually got like 20% into Red Sister. I was reading it on my Kindle, so I got about 20% into Red Sister. And the reason why I picked up Red Sister to begin with was because I am a sucker for epic fantasy. I love anything epic fantasy related, and I'm pretty sure this is adult. Like, I'm pretty sure, and so I'm into adult. I gravitate more towards adult than I do YA, because I feel like YA has very static tropes, and it's like easy to guess what's going to happen. It's not actually fun or scary or sad. It's just like, okay, you could go deeper. So I like to do adult. So I picked it up because it was epic fantasy, it was adult, it was popular. A lot of other booktubers that I follow that also enjoy epic fantasy recommended Red Sister. I did want to pick up a new book series, because I love reading book series, especially when I'm like obsessed. There's nothing better than being obsessed with a book series. I knew it was going to be action-packed, and that's kind of all I knew going into this book. I didn't want to read the synopsis because, I mean, it had a high rating, good recommendations, so I was like, okay, let me just go into this as blindly as possible. So like I said, I read 20% of the book, and the reason why I ultimately decided to DNF this book was because of one of the biggest like tropes that I hate in books. And it's quite funny because I feel like nobody agrees with me, but that's okay. Everyone has their own opinions. I personally borderline hate. I probably will use the word hate. I kind of hate books that are centered in a school. I know, I know. So like dark academia is an absolute no for me. Like just saying that is a turn off. Like I don't even want to hear what else you have to say. No, thank you. It's so hard because I've tried. You have no idea how many books I have tried to like get past that and accept it and still love the book. Like last year when I read Poppy War, I hated like half of the book because it was in a school. And it wasn't until the war started that I was like, okay, this is me. This is where I'm supposed to be. And that's when I started actually enjoying the book. So I hate school settings. Um, I don't even know what else. I just hate them. Like I genuinely don't like them. So I only read the first book of Hobby War because I was over it after the first book. Um, I've read a lot of books with like school settings and I've always hated it. I actually have never finished Harry Potter, but I've read the first three and I just hate schools. Like I don't like it. And Red Sister, it was like a school kind of like nun situation where she was like becoming a nun, learning how to fight and kill things. And it was a school, and that was just, didn't care about, oh, we're going to class, no, I gotta train, oh, I gotta practice, oh, I got an exam. I just don't care. And maybe when I'm like 40 years old, that'll be my jam again. But I think it probably just has to do with the fact that I've been in school my whole fucking life, so I don't want to be in it when I read a book. I don't want to be in school when I read a book. I don't want to hear about your character being late to class, bitch. I already have to worry about that on my own. Next. So I put it down. I was like, I can't do this because I knew going into this that like, well, like as soon as I got to the 20% mark, I realized that as the book series continues, she's still going to be in school. So it was just not my cup of tea, not something I could look past. So I stopped reading it. Tough. I will say the writing was good. It was good. Like I actually enjoyed the writing. And I would definitely recommend this book if you guys enjoy school settings or have no problem with school settings. Next book. So the next book I DNF'd also last month was The Book Thief. Let's see. The reason why I picked up The Book Thief was because it was also chosen for my September TBR on my video. I don't know what prompt it was, but it was a prompt and I chose The Book Thief. And the reason why I ended up choosing this book was because this is a book that has been recommended to me since middle school. Like since middle school, my best friend has been telling me to read this book. And since middle school, I've been telling her, no, I don't think this is the book for me. Now, this is an interesting kind of conversation that I had with her after I ended up DNFing this book. So going into this book, I knew that it was going to be under the like setting of the Holocaust in that time period, era, setting, location. I knew that the narrator was going to be death, and now if you're new here, I love dark things. Like I like sad and depressing books. That's like my niche. And so just hearing that, you know, the narrator is going to be death, that's a turn on. That's cool. That's like, okay, let's see where this goes. Personally, I thought it was pretty flat. I was bored. I didn't even get, I probably didn't even get 10% in this book, to be honest with you. But I was very, very bored. And I think another reason why I hated this book is because, listen, hear me out. I feel like 9 times out of 10, if I go and I pick out every single historical fiction book I have ever read, I believe that 9 times out of 10, those books are going to be in the setting of the Holocaust. Like thinking back in my brain, I truly believe that 9 out of 10 of the historical fiction books I have read over the period of my life are all about the Holocaust. And I don't want to read about it anymore. I'm not interested in picking up any more books about the Holocaust. I am way more interested in learning about other tragedies and learning about other historical events that we don't even know about. Like that to me is so much more interesting instead of going into a realm that I've already read 20 books from. You know what I mean? Like, gosh, I've read a couple books by, what's her name? Anna Sepetys. Oh, I'm butchering it. I don't know. But whatever her name is, she writes historical fiction books surrounded around historical events that do not get told enough, that get, you know, covered away and that no one knows about. And I am genuinely tired of reading about Holocaust books, and I don't think I'll ever read another one because I'm so ready, I'm so interested to read about other cultures and to read about other fucked up shit that's happened in other parts of the world, in other settings, in other timelines. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, so I'm done. I'm done. I've said it. Bro, tell me why. Like, I swear to God, just look up historical fiction books. If you scroll in that shit, I'm sure 70% of the top whatever books are gonna be about the Holocaust. It's just, it's important, obviously. Do not take what I'm saying as to me, I don't give a fuck. That shit is very important. But so is everything else. So I feel like it's also important to shed light on other events that have happened and to shed light on shit that we know nothing about. Like, that is way more interesting. So that is where I am at when it comes to historical fiction. I think from now on, whenever I pick up a historical fiction book, I am going to be looking for shit that I have never heard of, because that is going to be the most interesting. And that's going to be where I grow the most, when you learn about new topics and new things that have gone to shit in other people's lives that you don't know anything about. So that's my little spiel. I didn't have to. It was a yawn. I didn't like it at all. I won't watch the movie either because I don't care. Okay, next is a book that I literally picked up a couple days ago. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like after you DNF so many books in a row, like, I don't know, I just get really angry and I get really upset with myself. And so, like, the next time that I pick up a book, I am very hard on it, and I am very, like, if I think you're boring in the first 30 pages, I'm not reading it anymore. Like, if I feel like if I feel like you're not giving or you're not even going to give, then we're done. And that's how I felt about this next book, called All My Rage by Saba Tahir. Like I said, I didn't even read a lot. I read like maybe 30 pages of it, and I was just like, this isn't me. Like, and I'm not saying her writing was bad. That's not even what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I knew it wasn't going to be a 4 or 5 stars, so I stopped reading it. That's really all it is. I picked it up in the first place because I was interested in reading like just a contemporary fiction kind of book. There's a couple reasons why I put it down. Like, for one, I am not a fan of switching timelines. Like, it's very exhausting to be like, you know, we're in a country, what is this in? Like, when the book started, it was like Pakistan in the 1960s, and the next chapter is America in the 2000s. It's like, oh, it's kind of exhausting. And I didn't get far, but it felt to me as if every character had their own chapter, and it was in like 2 different countries, 2 different timelines. It was a lot. Too much. It was a pass for me. So I stopped reading that. I was like, yeah, this is not me at all. Let me stop before I waste too much of my time. So that is why I DNF'd All My Rage. Next, If We Were Villains. I have talked about this book prior on my channel. I had been talking about it because I had been reading it for like quite a while, trying to get through it. So this is a thriller book about a group of friends in college, and someone dies, and it's like, oh, who did it? Or, you know, the person that went to jail, did they actually do it? What's the truth? And the reason why I picked this book up was because it was popular. A couple of different booktube channels that I watched had talked about it, and it was not too long of a book. And also, if you're new here, I am not a thriller person. To this day, I have never read a thriller that I had given 4 or 5 stars in my entire life. thrillers just don't do it for me. It's a no. And I've tried so hard to pick, you know, the most popular thrillers that everyone loves to try to move past this fucking wall that has been built. I can't move past it. I have picked up quite a few popular thriller books and I've hated all of them. It's just like, it's just annoying at this point. And so I did end up putting it down because literally I got halfway through this book. I was definitely in the 50% when I put this book down, which kind of sucks. But I just knew that it wasn't doing it for me. Like, it was boring, okay? And also, it's a school setting, and somehow I pushed through that 50%. Don't even ask me how. Somehow I pushed through it for 50%. But that was that. I DNF'd it. It was boring. Whatever. Okay, next book is The Year of the Witching and Hello Beautiful. I'm gonna talk about both of these at the same time because I genuinely read like one chapter of both of these books, and the reason why I put both of them down is because of the writing styles. I do have certain icks with writing styles. I don't know. Different genres can do different things, but some are doing the too fucking much. For example, The Year of the Witching, I don't even know, was that in third person? It was in one of those weird persons that was not it. I just hate it. It was like actually gross. Let me see if I can like open this book and like read it to you because it was not good. Like, I did not vibe with this at all. Here we are. Okay, so The Year of the Witching, just like the first couple of sentences threw me off, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna like reading this book. And so I literally stopped reading it pretty much immediately. Let's see, literally the first page is like, she was born breech in the deep of night. The midwife, Martha, had to seize her by the ankles and drag her from the womb. She slipped out easy, dropped limb into Martha's arms, and lay still as stone. I don't know, I just like, and then other sentences are like, at that, the girl did this and she did that. I want to read it from the character's point of view. Like, that is my dream when it comes to books. I want to be in my main character's head, and that's all I want to be. I don't want to be anywhere else. I don't want your fucking omniscient perspective. I want my character's perspective. And I know a lot of people who disagree with that, which is pretty interesting. But that's just my cup of tea. I'm not saying that I've never read a book that was good from this perspective. I'm just saying that generally, I don't like it. And it can completely ruin a book and completely make me not even give it a time of day because it won't be enjoyable for me. I'll wait for the movie. Okay. And that was the same problem with Hello Beautiful. It was also in that weird thing of like, we weren't getting into the character's head, we were just getting some all-knowing narrator who was telling us what was going on. And I hate that, especially when they're like describing these person's emotions. Like, I don't want you to tell me how they feel. I want them to tell me how they feel, okay? So I stopped reading those pretty immediately. Another book was Who Fears Death. Another book that I started reading and ended up DNFing. What can I say? I picked this one up because, like I said, I like fantasy. I heard that it might be a TV show. It's popular. It seemed cool. I mean, I don't know. And then I started reading it and I just did not like it. It just wasn't good. And what I mean by that is, I guess I hated the writing. That was pretty much the only thing that I can say about that book, because it was a while ago that I picked that up. So the writing just didn't do it for me. I wasn't into it. It was a pass. Next book, The Leftovers, which is also an HBO show. I started reading that because I was interested in watching the TV show, but I was like, hey, let me get the book. And so I got the book. I started reading it. And it just started off really boring. And I feel like, I find it so interesting how you can pick up a book and you can read a chapter or read the first page, and that first page can be fucking fire. And you're like, why can't everyone do this? Why can't every author put their best foot forward and give me this? I don't know, man. I don't know. But they did not. The leftovers did not give. It was very boring. I got like 10% in, and I was like, yeah, this is not gonna work for me. So, I mean, I'll probably check out the TV show, but this book was just very boring, and I couldn't give it my time of day. Next book, Leave the World Behind. Honestly, similar issue, just because I will say the writing on Leave the World Behind was so fucking weird. Like, I feel like the words they were using were so extravagantly too much. Like they were doing the most with everything. Let me see if I can get a sample of this so I can read to you just some of the weird ass shit they were talking about. I'm just like, why are you writing this like this? Like, I'm not a fucking scholar, okay, bitch? I don't want to look up 5 words in one sentence. Like, can you just not do that, please? Let's see. I don't know. It's just doing the most. Like, it's just big ass words. It's just, it shouldn't be hard to read. It should come nicely. And it wasn't doing that. I don't know, even the sentences were just so fucking weird. Like, listen to this. The sunlight on their arms was reassuring. The windows were tinted with a protectant to keep cancer at bay. There was news of an intensifying hurricane season, storms with fanciful names from a pre-approved list. Amanda turned down the radio. Was it sexist, somehow, that Clay drove and always did? Well, Amanda had no patience for the attendant sacraments of alternate side of the street parking and the 12,000-mile checkup. Besides, Clay took pride in that kind of thing. He was a professor, and that seemed to correlate with his relish for life's useful tasks. Just like, I don't, like, what are you saying? I'm just so bored. Like, oh my God. Oh, yeah, and I was just like an immediate no, thank you. I even switched to an audiobook, and I was like, it's even worse, because now I feel like now I can't even stop and look up a word because you're just going. I don't even know what's happening. Last book was Mallory, which is the second book in Bird Box. I never actually read Bird Box, just watched the movie, loved it. Picked up Mallory because I, like I said, have never read a thriller I loved, and I thought that if I picked up Mallory, there would be a better chance of me liking it since I already have context on the world of Bird Box, and since I already have, like, the characters have already built up their, like, the characters are developed, and I can kind of just throw myself into this book. And it was not good. I didn't even get far, to be honest, but I was not into it. I was like, oh God. But even though I know who you are and I know what you've been through already, I don't care. This thriller, I'm not into thrillers, yo. Okay, so that's the video. If you guys have any recommendations based on all the shit I don't like in books, that'd be great, because I'm a really bad decision maker. It takes me like an hour to decide what I want to eat for dinner. Like, it's really sad. That's why I plan my life out, because I know I'm a slow thinker, and I know I change my mind a lot, so I genuinely plan out my day so I don't fucking lose track of that shit, and so my day can be productive. And same with like books, or just like my thoughts of what I might read or might not want to read. Like, I definitely keep lists everywhere of like books that maybe I might be in the mood for. So if y'all could add to that list, that would be great. But like I said, I've never genuinely enjoyed a mystery thriller suspensive book. I've never like enjoyed any book like that, so it's tough out here. Also hate dark academia. I know, going for my throat, that's fine, whatever. Also, I will not be making a September wrap up because I only read one book this month, and that was Catching Fire. And what's even funny about that is I've already seen the movies, so reading that, I mean, maybe I got a bit more insight into Katniss's head during certain times and scenes, but at the end of the day, I didn't really get a new story or like a new thing You know what I mean? It was kind of just what it was. I enjoyed it enough to finish it. um, but yeah, that's the video. I'm kind of tired. But I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Bye.